In this clip, we'll be looking at adding a new user to the Innova app. To access the app from a phone or tablet, you will require a username and password. If the user has been assigned the role as an admin, then they will have the ability to create login credentials for new users and assign the level of access this new user will have. The first thing to do is log in with the relevant admin credentials. Once logged in, select the three horizontal lines at the top left of the screen and select User Management. User Management is made up of two sections, Users on the bottom left and Roles on the bottom right. We will take a look at the Roles section first. This is where the admin can create the relevant roles as per their requirements. To create a new role, select the white cross at the bottom right of the screen. This will open the Add Role dialog. So now we're just going to work our way down through the list. So to start with, we will select Organisation. And in the organisation, you are only going to have one option available, which is going to be your company. So just select it and hit Done. For the role name, just choose something appropriate. So here, we're going to select this as a viewer role. And in the description, we're just going to call it viewer as well. At this point, you can now select the options that you want this role to have available. We can see we have admin, edit, delete, approver, create. Because this is going to be a viewer role, we're not going to check any of these boxes. And then all that we're going to do is hit submit. We can see that the new role has now been created and is available in our list. Now we're going to choose the products and features that we want to make available to this role. And we can do this by selecting the four horizontal lines to the right of the role. This is going to give us the option of what we want to allow the role to have access to. So in our case, we're going to select everything, but as an admin, you can make the decision as to what you want to give access to. And we're going to hit apply. So now the role has been created, we can go back to the user section. As with the roles, to add a new user, we're just going to select the white cross at the bottom right of the screen. But before we do this, we need to refresh the page by dragging down. You only need to do this if you've just created a new role. And the reason we need to do this is that if you don't refresh the page, when you come to fill in the details for the new user, the new role will not be available from the drop-down menu. So if I now select the white cross, we're going to start to fill in the details as we did with the role. So we have to enter in our suitable email address. So we put in an email address here, and we need to enter in our password. The password needs to be 8 characters long, and it will need to contain a number, some letters, and it will also need to contain a special character. Again, for the organisation, when we select the organisation, we're only going to have one organisation available to us, which will be our own. So we select it and select Done. In the roles, we are going to have the two roles that we have available to us. So we have the admin and the viewer, which is what we saw before. If there are other roles, we will see these in here. As I mentioned earlier, if you don't see the role that you've just created, then you obviously haven't refreshed the screen previously. So you would come out of this, refresh the screen, and it will be available for you to select here. So this is a very important stage. So we select viewer. We're going to select our units. These will be the default units for the user when they open up or when they log in. And the option at the bottom for active will always be checked, but it's good to understand that at any point, if you do not wish this user to have access to the app, you can come in here and you can check this as inactive, but we want to make sure that this is active. And once we've done that, we can hit submit. And we can see that our new user has now become available for us in the list. At this point, we now want to select the operators or the wells that we would like this user to have access to. And this can be done by selecting either of the two icons to the right hand side of the user. So if we select the one that looks like a person, this will show up any operators that we have in the database, and we can select if we want the user to be able to access this information. Note that if there is a lot of information in here, If you don't select anything, the user will have access to everything. If you check one box, then it will change this so that they only have access to what you've selected. So in our case, I want this user to be able to view everything in the database, so I'm not going to check this here. We're just going to hit apply. And then if we go across and we hit the 4 lines to the right hand side of this, this will then open the wells that we have available. And again, this only has 2 wells available. I would like to be able to access all of these with this user, so I'm not going to check any. If I just wanted to give them access to 1, I would just select that, and that would just mean they can only access the 3H. We'll hit apply, and that is now our user being created. You will pass on the username and the password that you entered when you first created this user, and that will be the login credentials. One additional thing to be aware of is that when a new user is created, they will receive a verification email from the following email address. Please make them aware of this so that they're expecting it, and do not disregard it as junk mail. Each user will need to select the Verify Your Account link, which is embedded in the email, to complete the setup process.